It's a lovely day to be out at the garden center. Here I am in Jasper, Georgia, and I am at the Home Depot Garden Center to check out what's available. What I'm struck by is just how attractive everything is put together. Caladiums. These are not familiar, but it's a beautiful combination of colors in the pots. It says part sun. They've got the dark pink, and then they've got lighter pink varieties. These are a flowering ginger, and they're considered an annual. What a spectacular plant that could be in the right spot in your yard. So I'm just going to walk down a few of the aisles and see what kinds of things they're promoting for folks who want to do gardening here. They've got some perennials, ground covers, the familiar ground covers that we use. They're mondo grass type plants, and they have the variegated leaves. Those nice combination. It's striking to see the dark green and the variegated ones next together. They have some, looks like ferns, larger variety of what we call the mondo grass, but this gets much bigger. What's nice is these are evergreen, and a lot of people use them as border plants, and they're very hardy. Here are the ever popular blue days, portulacas in the back. Those have striking dark pink and reddish colors, some petunias, and then of course coleus. Coleus are a wonderful plant, comes in a variety. I love the blooms, and these have been a big pollinator attractor, especially in August when they have the pollinator census here in Georgia. These are zinnias, wonderful plants from spring until frost, and they do rebloom, especially if you deadhead them, and they come in dwarf varieties and also taller. Ever popular marigolds, and those are great for pollinators. And then the vincas. These are very hardy. They bloom beautifully. They like sun. On the next row over, you've got things that are in larger pots. So very nice variety, and the plants look well taken care of. Up here, we're in zone 8A instead of zone 9A, which is where I was in Florida, and they have beautiful hostas. I love hostas, and they have these that have the beautiful green on green variegation, and then these which get larger, and they're the yellow on green variegated leaf. And then in the back they have some grasses, and here I really enjoyed these coleus down in Florida where I was gardening at the Four Freedoms Park. And these, here is the botanical name of this plant, but it is so unusual. It's so dark, such a dark purple, you would almost consider it black, but it's not. These can make fantastic contrast plants in your garden. And as always, get your garden tag. It'll tell you the spacing, how high the plant gets, the water requirements, and the sun requirements. These are the keys to being successful, whether you're doing container gardens or in-ground gardens. Plenty of roses that are still blooming, quite the color selection. And because it is about 5, almost 10 degrees cooler in this area, you can have a nice season for growing roses. The only downside for me are the stickers, and I end up getting skin tears. So I tend to admire roses when I'm driving around, but I don't add them to my garden bed. I don't want to have the problem with my skin torn. That happens when you're a senior gardener, and I know that they're long gloves and things, but I decided a long time ago that I was going to admire them but not plant them. Here's an example of the long garden glove that you could use to help if you've got roses and things that are prickly. And it's got extra protection, nice looking shrub section. Everything looks healthy. They have the encore azaleas, which are forever popular. And this is in the autumn variety. And these encores bloom between 2 and 3 times per year. So depending on how much room you have, again, you got to know your soil, your sun, and your water requirements to be successful. Hydrangeas, and this is getting towards the end of the hydrangea season, but it's great to be able to come and see the plants blooming. So when you purchase, you know what you're getting. So that's one of my gardening tips is when you're going to buy blooming plants, come when they're blooming. So here is a gardenia, and you can see how the bud looks, the flower, and you'll get an idea of what you're going to have. Sometimes the colors and the plant cards don't quite match up. And you've got all kinds of encores along here. Mostly they're carrying the royalty, but they did have a white one that's got some pink streaks, and that's very pretty. It's called Autumn Lily. And these are the varieties. These are ever popular, evergreen. And here's another type of gardenia, and this is a single. This is not a semi-double or double, and this would be nice for pollinators because they can get into the blooms. Some more of hydrangeas. These are the limelights. That's such a beautiful panicle. So it's always wonderful to have beautiful blooming things. These are unusual. This is a hibiscus, the hibiscus hybrid. Gorgeous pink with that deep crimson center. Here's another hibiscus, crimson. This reminds me more of a traditional hibiscus. And then here's something I've not seen before, and this is called Hibiscus Rose of Sharon Chiffron. So here's the card. So this tells you a little bit about this plant, but it is gorgeous. It's unusual bloom form, but pollinators can still get in there. Here are more outdoor shrubs to choose from. You've got some with spectacular yellow. This one has variegation and it's yellow. This one is a maroon. That has a yellow cast to it. Deep green. You've got the deep green of the gardenias. Many things to think about as you put your color schemes together. Now, of all the plants that I see, this one I am unhappy to see at the garden center. This is a Mexican petunia. These are highly invasive. I would not put any of these things in my garden. They spread underground, rhizomes. They spread into wild areas and they take over. They compete with the native plants. I know they're popular, but I would recommend you try something else. What a delight to come here and check out the garden center at my new home location. And this is a Home Depot, and they've got all kinds of colorful annuals and perennials. So inviting. You want to come in and see all the beautiful things and maybe take something home. These are all annuals, and they're already potted for people like me who've just moved to the area and you maybe want some instant color in your garden. Here's a mandevilla vine. If you've got a mailbox or something you want to twine it around, you do have to take some care because it grows and you don't want it to take over. Ever popular hibiscus that they've got in large pots. These are ones that grow large. and some daylilies that have already bloomed. More unusual hibiscus. Beautiful. This has got to be some kind of a hybrid. I love these. These are beautiful. I got to see what they are. Well, they're just listed as a coneflower, but certainly these plants are big pollinator attractors. And these are ever popular blanket flowers. They are not the ones that have the red on them. Very interesting. I've not seen blanket flowers like this. Some daisies. So all kinds of things to invite you into the garden center so that you can get your garden growing, thriving, blooming, and attracting those wonderful butterflies, bees, and pollinators, all the little things that matter most, that help our farmers, that pollinate the crops, our flowers too. Hope you enjoyed the walk around the garden center, and if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Gardenia for more tips, tours, information, and inspiration. And I'll see you again soon. Happy gardening.